For years, British citizenship was seen as the final prize, the ultimate reward at the end of a long, exhausting journey. People spent a decade or more paying visa fees, living with stress and uncertainty, building their lives around strict immigration rules, and finally securing indefinite leave to remain for many. The British passport was supposed to be a formality, a rubber stamp confirming their rightful place in this country. But that assumption no longer holds true. Today, the path to citizenship is not the end of the journey. It has become the most treacherous part of it. What looks like a simple final step is now a hidden minefield. The Home Office has built a system full of unwritten rules, invisible traps, and shifting standards that can disqualify even the most deserving applicants at the very last moment. These are the secret citizenship bans, a kind of ghostly presence within the process, waiting for you to stumble when your guard is finally down. One of the most dangerous of these traps lies in the requirement to prove good character. For years, people believed that once they held indefinite leave to remain, they had already passed that test. After all, how could someone with a serious criminal record ever reach settlement in the first place? But citizenship is treated differently now. Instead of relying on your settled status as proof of character, the Home Office uses the citizenship application as an opportunity to review your entire life in the UK under a forensic microscope. Issues long thought forgotten, a minor driving fine, a brief visa overstay years ago, or a small tax error that was corrected without consequence, can suddenly resurface. And the sting is cruel. You are judged not just for what happened, but for the fact that it happened at all, even if you were already forgiven or the matter was resolved. Consider the story of a man who had been in the UK for 15 years. He built a business, created jobs, and paid taxes diligently. Years earlier, when he was still a student, he overstayed his visa by 2 weeks before his renewal was approved. He corrected it quickly and carried on with his life. When he applied for citizenship, the Home Office dug up that decade-old overstay and used it to deny him, claiming it showed disregard for immigration law. A single mistake, long behind him, erased years of contribution. Another hidden danger lurks in the requirement to prove continuous residence. The rules about time spent outside the UK are brutally rigid. A person can be refused simply for exceeding the limit by a single day. Imagine missing a flight because of bad weather, or staying abroad a little longer to care for a sick parent. These human moments, often completely outside of your control, can erase your eligibility. And it does not stop there. The Home Office no longer relies only on stamps in your passport. They now pull data from airlines, banks, and even social media. If you used your credit card abroad, if your boarding pass doesn't line up with the dates you declared, if your Instagram shows you on holiday for longer than you reported, you risk being accused of deception. It's not just your official documents that count anymore. Your entire digital life is being used to judge you. Financial scrutiny has also become harsher than ever. It is not enough to show you can support yourself. Citizenship applications are now cross-referenced with years of tax records, business filings, and financial transactions. Even the smallest discrepancy can be weaponized against you. One freelance worker, for example, declared a few £100s of overseas income 6 years earlier, not out of dishonesty, but because she misunderstood the reporting requirements. She had never been investigated by HMRC, never fined, never warned. But when the Home Office matched her application with tax records, the mistake was flagged and her citizenship was refused on the grounds of dishonesty. In their eyes, a paperwork error was enough to prove bad character. Then there is the chilling idea that you can be judged not only for your actions, but for the company you keep. The Home Office has refused applications on the basis of association, meaning your citizenship can be denied because of the actions of someone else. A man who once ran a small company was refused years later when his former business partner was investigated for fraud, even though he had left the partnership long before and had no involvement in the wrongdoing. Another applicant discovered that a tenant in one of his properties had been involved in illegal activity without his knowledge. That tenant's actions were cited against him. In some cases, applicants are not even told exactly what the evidence is, because it is marked as confidential or related to national security. Imagine spending years proving your loyalty to a country, only to be told you are being refused because of something someone else did, and not even being allowed to know the details. And perhaps the most unsettling barrier is one based not on your past, but on your future. Applicants are required to declare that the UK will be their principal home. On the surface, that seems fair. But the Home Office now actively searches for evidence that your intentions may not match your declaration. If your family spends significant time abroad, if you have strong business ties in another country, or if you have ever spoken online about dreams of retiring elsewhere, these can all be used as reasons to doubt your commitment. One applicant who had lived in Britain for nearly 2 decades, raising children and paying taxes, was refused because he had once mentioned on Facebook that he might like to retire in his home country one day. That single, casual comment was treated as evidence that his future intentions were suspect. Taken together, these hidden barriers create a system where perfection is demanded, and any imperfection, whether in your past, your paperwork, your associations, or even your dreams, can destroy your application. For many, it feels less like a fair test of commitment and more like a minefield, where the very rules are designed to trip you up. And this is why understanding these dangers matters so much. People invest not just money, but years of their lives into this journey. They build families, careers, and communities under the assumption that indefinite leave to remain means security. But the truth is that ILR is not the finish line. The pursuit of citizenship is now the hardest test of all, a test where the standards shift, the rules are hidden, and the smallest slip can cost you everything. So, if you are on this path, take nothing for granted. Review your history carefully. Keep meticulous records. Double-check your travel, your finances, your associations, and even your digital footprint. Share this knowledge with others because too many people are walking into this final stage unprepared, believing the hardest part is behind them. In reality, the final hurdle may be the one most likely to bring them down.